Let me straighten this out. All right. Trying to keep my cool about this because this is just crazy. This is just nuts. It's insane. LeBron James personifies celebrity ignorance. I swear, this is just my opinion, but it's got to be true. If he wasn't talented at dribbling a basketball, he would be useless to society. Just a straight up mouth breather. Pure ignorance. What are you talking about, LeBron? What are you talking about? Black people are hunted down every day. You're hunted down. I've never been hunted down. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. You get these ignorant, wildly ignorant entertainers. I swear, the more ignorant you are, the bigger your platform is. You can spew your ignorance on the internet. If black people are hunted down every single day, then why isn't there constant news coverage? Why? Because the news doesn't cover what happens every day. If they did, they would show people from all races, all walks of life getting along, which is why they cling to these stories like the Ahmaud Arbery case and they sensationalize it because it's few and far between. And they try to use those stories as an indictment on American society as a whole. But when you drill down and you get to the stats, which a lot of people don't want to do, they just want to cling to whatever lines up with their feelings and their narrative. When you get down to the stats, it tells a different story. See, you're not allowed to talk about this. If you're black, you're not allowed to say that black people actually commit the most crimes. You're not allowed to say it. You can't acknowledge it. You're only allowed to say, white people are killing us. They're hunting us down every day. I'm scared to leave my house. I'm scared for my son. The truth of the matter is murders happen every day in the hood, but we only care if it's a white person that took that black life. And it doesn't matter. Matter of fact, shout out to Brandon Tatum for tweeting out yesterday about the kid Tyshawn Lee, who none of you guys know about. It's not your fault you don't know about it. It's because the media didn't care to tell you about it. Tyshawn Lee was a little kid in Chicago, probably 10 years old. This was back in, I want to say, 2017. So it's been a few years now. Tyshawn Lee was hunted down by a black gang member because his dad was a rival gang member, something like that. They killed him and put out cigarettes on him. But he was literally hunted down, killed, and they put cigarettes out on his body. So let's talk about that, LeBron James. Where's LeBron James on that? Nowhere, because he doesn't care. He's carrying the water for the Chinese Communist Party. He's carrying the water for the Democrat Party. He's carrying the water for Marxists and people who want to divide the country along racial lines, gender lines, religious lines, so that we're not looking at the Bill Gateses of the world and the people that are actually controlling both political parties. LeBron James is doing the devil's work, spreading lies, spreading propaganda, spreading fear, pushing false narratives. Because if Black lives truly matter, they need to matter all the time. Matter of fact, all lives matter. So if we're going to talk about police brutality, let's talk about police brutality because it is a problem against everyone. The reason why people think it's only happening to Black people is because the news is telling you that. The news tells you everything you know. But nobody wants to talk about, well, why are they telling me this, not that? Why are they shining the light over here? Remember how I said we're all just cats and they're pointing a laser pointer. They're shining over here. Look here, look here. So with this case specifically, the Ahmaud Arbery case, right? I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat for a second. Allow me to do that, guys. That's just what I do. I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat, okay? Because I would rather wear a tinfoil hat than a blindfold at the end of the day. My tinfoil hat says this story, because it happened back in February, it just came out. It just surfaced in May. Why? Why didn't it surface back in February? Because they held it in the vault. That's what I think. Okay, this is my theory. They held this story in the vault until the time was right. And now the time is right to release it. After all the news stories that came out, the COVID 1984 lie, the pandemic, That is blowing up in their face because people are starting to wake up. People are realizing, hey, this thing is not as deadly as you said. You lied about it. You've been caught spreading fake news. People are waking up to that. People saw what was happening with Bill Gates. People are connecting the dots there. People are seeing Joe Biden falling apart. He's the nominee now. You got CBS, who recently just got busted by Project Veritas lying. They've been busted like 4 times this year with fake news. And CNN, or not CNN, CBS is actually the news source that leaked this Ahmaud Arbery case. So that's interesting. And then, of course, Michael Flynn walks free. So all of those things are coming out right now. And then they're like, hey, look over here, look over here. Racism, everyone look over here. So this is the perfect narrative for them to carry to the election. Here's what I think is going to happen, though. This is going to be interesting. We'll see how it plays out. I think that now that these 2 white supremacist Trump supporters who shot this guy, now that they've been arrested, indicted by a grand jury, I think it's going to be a speedy trial. I think it'll be wrapped up later in the year. The verdict will be, well, self-defense. I mean, we can't put them behind bars. That's what I think is going to happen. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm not saying that's what should happen. That's what I think will happen. I think that will happen right before the election time to get Black people upset, angry, pissed off, racism top of mind because they want us being single issue voters. That's it. They want us only focus on racism. I don't know how anybody can deny that, but they do. They do mental gymnastics to deny it. So they'll have racism and injustice, no justice, no peace. That'll be top of mind right before the election so that Joe Biden can come in and be like, if I'm elected president, there will be justice. Remember how I said Joe Biden would pick Stacey Abrams as his running mate? Well, now he has 2 reasons to pick Stacey Abrams as his running mate, maybe 3 reasons. Number 1, Joe Biden, as we all know, is a creeper, right? He's a creep. It's on camera, but people are like, no, he's a good man. He's a good man. He's good to women. He was never doing anything creepy to children or women, even though there's montages of videos of him doing it. He has this Tara Reade sex assault case looming over his head as he's lied about it. So now picking a female running mate is the only way for him to kind of, soften the blow. But now that you got this case, well, a Black man getting killed, and there's going to be more of this. You guys already know. You know how this works. There will be more police shootings that pop up this year. Now he's got to pick a Black running mate. So a Black female running mate. Where did this Ahmaud Arbery case happen? In Georgia. Who was running for governor of Georgia in 2018? Oh, that's right. It was Stacey Abrams. So it just fits a little bit too perfectly to not come to fruition, but we'll see how it plays out. Like I said, I just put on a tinfoil hat to tell you guys all that, but that's what I think will happen because it fits perfectly. Joe Biden picks the Black woman from Georgia as his running mate. After this case gets basically thrown out, they're going to say, well, we can't prosecute him, or it'll be manslaughter. It'll be something. It's not going to be what everybody wants it to be, which is lock him away forever for murder. I don't think it's going to happen. It could, but I don't think it's going to happen. So that outrage gets funneled right into Joe Biden and Stacey Abrams from Georgia to galvanize the vote right ahead of the election. Oh, and they'll probably have, second wave of COVID-19, the China virus. That'll probably happen right around election time too, to maybe justify, I don't know, mandatory mail-in ballots. There, I said it. That's what I think is going to happen. I mean, you guys can take that for what it's worth, but that's what I think is going to happen. So back to LeBron James, this idiot, LeBron James. Okay, so you're saying that Black people are hunted down every day, even though there's zero evidence of that. You're not being hunted down every day because you live in a rich, probably white area. I'm sure you do. So if you were being hunted down every day, wouldn't you just move to a Black neighborhood where you're not hunted down? Right? Isn't that the safest place for a Black person in an all Black neighborhood? And I'm not saying all Black neighborhoods are dangerous, but we got to call it what it is. A lot of Black neighborhoods are dangerous. That's where most of the crime and homicides happen. And I don't know how people get emotional. They get angry. They call me Uncle Tom. They call me all these names. But I don't know how after they call me those names, they can deny the truth. FBI crime statistics, you can see it for yourself. If you drive through the hood, if you're there at the wrong time, you might hear it for yourself. People don't want to talk about that. People don't want to keep the same energy about police brutality and violence and people getting their rights violated. This is why I have forever aligned with the libertarian stance on it. Do you know how libertarians look at police brutality? They look at all of it. They say cops, because they look at cops and they say, okay, they're overzealous. They're enforcing unjust laws. So why does race even matter? Let's throw race out. Let's look at the real problem. See, libertarians look at the real problem, which is police brutality, period. And it's not all cops. It's not me smearing the thin blue line. I'm not bashing cops. There are good cops out there. There's probably more good cops than bad cops. The problem is they take orders from corrupt politicians. So they're enforcing those corrupt laws, those unjust laws, those unconstitutional laws. So they're basically order takers at the end of the day. It's just the truth. It's not smearing them. It's just saying the truth. So if cops are overzealous, we know that cops do kill white people. We know they kill Hispanics. We know they kill Asians, but they only show black people. Why? Because there's a lot of political currency in there. There's a lot of social media clout. There's a lot of Colin Kaepernicks just waiting to be birthed to help drive the Marxist agenda so that we're always divided, so that they have us in eternal warfare, class warfare, race warfare. That's what it is, guys. That's what's happening. That's why when you see my videos, they're popping up and saying, oh, this is hateful. This is restricted. We got to, this is offensive. That's what they did yesterday to my video. I saw some people email me about that. And I figured, I probably shouldn't have had that clip in there. The only reason I included it is because I saw it from other channels. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to include it. I'm not going to show the entire thing because, the clip itself isn't that long, but it doesn't show much until the very end, right? But no, nonetheless, YouTube blocked it. YouTube's taken down a couple of my videos now. They are on a straight up crusade against the truth right now. They're going hard. How many times are they going to delete that Plandemic movie? I saw some friends on Facebook who just rail against conservatives, rail against anybody who disagrees with them. They have it all figured out. They're railing against us. They're like, oh, if that's what you think is true, watching the Plandemic movie, then God help you. Just saying crazy stuff. I'm like, okay, sunshine is the best disinfectant. So if that lady is such a quack, why not leave it up so everybody can laugh at it? Why delete it and take it down? Why not let people watch it and decide for themselves what they think? Oh, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. We got to take it down. We got to police it. See, YouTube is trash. I don't care. Eventually, they're going to demonetize this channel and probably delete it. They'll probably take it down. So if that's the inevitable outcome of this channel, I'm not trying to speak it into an existence. It's just what's happened over the last year. We all know this channel needs at least 100,000 subscribers. It should at least have that. We know that that's coming. So the way I see it, I might as well just tell the truth. Just keep going hard in the paint, especially in an election year, especially with everything going on. Are you guys enjoying 2020 so far? Is this not the craziest year of your life? If it's not the craziest year of your life, I want to know what is the craziest year of your life. What did you see happen? And we're only in the beginning of May. We're 5 months in. And this plandemic, they're just going to keep running with it. These authoritarian lockdowns, the fudging of the numbers, the lies. I'm like, okay. And then you throw on this race thing, like, yeah, racial tension. Let's keep that going. Let's push these false narratives. Let's get black people scared again. Let's have black people scared of COVID-19 and being hunted down, according to LeBron James. We're hunted every day. We're literally hunted every day. Okay, show me every single day for the next, week. Show me every single day that somebody's been hunted down. Give me a news article. Oh, this black person was hunted down while jogging by 2 white Trump supporters, one on the back of a pickup truck. Here's the footage. See, people don't want to do the critical thinking. They don't want to do the critical thinking. They go off of the headline and they go off of the optics. So they'll see, here's the footage. Yep, it happened. Black dude was killed. And then the headline, white supremacists hunt down black person. That's all they need to run with it. No justice, no peace. Let's organize protests. They don't even stop to think like, wait a minute. This story happened in February. How did somebody manage to get that on camera? How come there's two versions of the video? There's one that's super grainy, and then there's one that's crystal clear. And then also, it looks like it was scripted in Hollywood just a little bit. Like, it just seemed a little bit too stereotypical. You know, big bearded Southern redneck white guy in the back of a pickup truck with a shotgun chasing down a black man. It's like Hollywood couldn't script that any better. And that's not to say that it doesn't happen somewhere, but they take that one statistical anomaly and then they fan it out and they say, this is happening in every corner of the United States of America. The United States of America is immoral, and therefore we need all these Marxist and communist policies. This is why we need it. See, this is why. Here's the proof. It's on CNN. We're going to play it on loop until we beat it in your head, right? And we're going to have all of the media be in perfect alignment, sharing this narrative, sharing this story. We're going to have them in perfect alignment. We're going to have similar headlines. All you need to know is white shooters, unarmed black man, he's dead. That's all you need to know. We're going to continue telling you this lie until you believe it. It's like if 100 people tell you the same lie, does that make it true? Okay, so why do people believe the lies? It's not hard to look up the FBI crime statistics and see blacks kill more blacks than any other race. We also kill more people of other races than any other race. It's like 13% of the population. And if you drill down and look at the subset of the data, if you look at who in the black community is doing, it's not me, it's people in my age range. So it's not all black people. It's a specific set, probably ages, I'm just going to guess, ages, 15, 16. That's when you join gangs, up to like mid 30s, right? That little sliver of the population is committing almost all of the murders, at least 58% of the murders in America. And I think it's all wrong. That's what I'm saying. All of it's bad. Isn't all murder bad? So why do we only care about a black person dying or anybody dying if it fits a narrative, if it satisfies an agenda, if someone can fulfill their ambitions to be a martyr, if someone can launch a social media platform, if someone can launch a non-profit organization, if a Sean King of the world can be, birthed. That's what it's all about. Pushing forward false narratives, dividing people so that we don't come together and see, actually, it's all of the elites out there, the pedophile rings. It's the Bill Gates, it's the George Soros, it's the Bilderbergs, the Rockefellers, it's the Clintons. We're not allowed to even talk about that because you got a lot of people, unfortunately, that buy up the stuff that they're getting from CBS. And then they'll be like, oh, no, I don't watch CBS. I don't watch CNN or Fox News. I just read The Root and I look at NPR from time to time. They think that they're getting a variety of it, but it's just literally you're flipping pages in the same freaking book. That's all it is. You're reading the same book, but it's just a different page. And it's like, man, it just makes my blood boil, guys, because we keep going down this same path. It feels like we're living a nightmare. They don't even know who Jasmine Barnes is. They don't know who Tyshawn Lee is. And if you tell them, they'll forget in 5 seconds because the only thing that matters is what's being told to them, and they just eat it. Imagine eating the food that you're just served instead of picking what food you want to eat. That's what it is. They're force feeding you. And it's just sad. I have friends and family that take this bait all the time. They just gobble up whatever the media puts out. They don't stop and question, like, who controls the media? Who controls the media? Imagine thinking that who controls the media wants to see a better world, right? They want to see a better world. That's why they're telling us about all this horrible stuff. Do you ever feel good after you watch the news? Do you ever walk away? And I know a lot of you are like, I don't watch the news. I turn it off. Good for you. The only reason I still consume it is because I want to know what's going on. I want to know what they're doing. I want to know how they're lying. You know, I can't just bury my head in the sand, pretend like it doesn't exist. Denzel Washington had one of the best quotes on this. He said, if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed. If you do watch the news, you're misinformed. I'm neither of those because I watch the news. I take it with a grain of salt, and not all of its lies. Like some stuff is true. Obviously, some things are actually happening, but I do my research. I use discernment, wisdom. I look at history. I get alternative media sources and I put it all together. And then I decide what I think. And that's what makes me so dangerous. That's what makes you so dangerous, because we aren't easy to control, right? They can't advance their totalitarian one world agenda without our consent, because we will always outnumber them. They need us. They need us to lead ourselves to the slaughter. They need us to willingly walk to the slaughter, right? You think about how many people are responding to Bill Gates whenever he posts anything. The majority of the comments are like, F you, F your foundation, I'm not taking your vaccine. So what does that mean? That means they've either got to physically force you to take the vaccine, or they need propagandists and salesmen to come and convince you that it's a good idea. Think about it. When that vaccine rolls out, don't you think there's going to be a massive campaign for why we need to accept it, right? Miley Cyrus said it's a good idea. Taylor Swift thinks it's cool. LeBron James took it, right? They're going to do that to convince people, the sheeple who just follow that stuff, to prep their arms and take it. That's how it will work. That's the only way it can work. You guys hear about this contact tracing stuff? They're talking about building up an army of contact tracers. Sounds a little brown shirty, doesn't it? People that are going to track you down and talk to you about who you've had contact with if you catch the coronavirus. That's what they're going to do. Does it get any more creepy or Orwellian than that? If it does, someone let me know. Please let me know how it's even possible. How's it even remotely possible that you can accept something like that? Who is signing up to do this, right? After they forcefully close people's businesses, put them out of work, end their lifelong work, right? Some people pour blood, sweat, and tears and years into their family business. After they forcefully close your business, they offer you a job to work for them. And your job isn't just an ordinary job. Your job is to track down people like me, people like you, for their creepy little system they want to set up. The only way they can do that is they have to buy allies. They have to buy allies. So if you can feed someone's family, right, bring them on board, make them a contact tracer, start collecting data, of course, they're going to accept whatever you give them, whatever you push out. It's going to be some kind of vaccine, some kind of smartphone app, something like that. Then their system can actually operate because they have people who will accept it. So the question is, are there going to be more people who don't accept it or people who do accept it? I tell you what, the way YouTube is zapping videos lately, that tells me that we're winning. The truth is winning. If they're scrambling to deleting videos after videos, that means they're losing. That means they're panicking because the truth is getting out there. They're tired of it. The truth is getting out there. Over the last, 2 weeks, usually people will email me. People send me stuff on Facebook. They're like, hey, man, check out this video. And what I usually do is I have a running queue. I'll just add it to my list of stuff. And then I just play it. Well, 9 times out of 10, if I don't watch it within the first 2 hours, it's gone. That's never happened before the last 2 weeks. That never happens. You guys know I have a list of videos. I have a playlist on my channel. If you haven't checked it out, it's called The Rabbit Hole. And every once in a while I go in there. I haven't done it lately, but every once in a while I go in there and I'll add stuff to it. Playlist that's public. You guys can see it. And I don't endorse everything in those videos, but there was some nugget of truth in there that I just wanted to stash away for later. But anyway, every once in a while I'll go in there and check. and there's videos that are gone. And sometimes the whole channel itself is gone. So I bet that playlist is ravaged now. All kind of stuff, whether it's true or not, who cares? Some stuff about 5G, stuff about, I don't know, ET, not ET, ET, flying. What's that stuff? UFOs, stuff about that. Okay. There might be videos I'm like, dang, that's interesting. And I'll save it to watch it later because I don't agree with everything. I don't agree with the flat earthers, but at the same time, I don't care. It doesn't, what difference does it make if the earth is flat? I just want it to be a better place. I don't care if it's flat or round. It doesn't matter. And if we found out the earth was flat, okay, it validates what? That they've been lying to us? Do we need the flat earth to know they've been lying to us? I mean, the point is they're allowed to talk. They're allowed to share their information. They're allowed to have their opinions. So why scrutinize them? If they're just crazy whack jobs, why do we demonize them? Why do we delete their videos? If they don't pose a threat, why delete the videos? Makes you wonder. That's all I'm saying. So with this shooting, man, it's just, I just feel like the timing is a little bit too, it's weird. It's weird. There's weird anomalies in that video too. But do your own research on all of this stuff. You know, I just think it's going to be interesting as we get towards the election. It's just going to be interesting. Don't be surprised. Do not be surprised if at some point they're going to say this father and son who gunned down this black man who was jogging were seen at a MAGA rally. They've been seen at a Brian Kemp political event or something like that. They're going to say it. If it hasn't come out already, it will come out. It will come out that they're somehow connected to Trump. They're Trump supporters. They're going to do that. You guys know that. And all this will be is cannon fodder for Biden. That's all it will be. So he can launch campaigns or not launch campaigns. So he can have these videos, these promo videos. They're going to use it for propaganda. And not only this, it's going to be the next one and the next one and the next one. So they can try to build this coalition and build up momentum for the election. That's what's going to happen, guys. That's my theory, but it can't be that far off base. How far off base could it be? I'm just forecasting into the future based on what I've seen in the past. You can say that black shootings or unarmed shootings of unarmed black men, you can say that happening during an election year is just a coincidence, but I don't know, man. I really don't know. Sleepy old Joe, is he still around? Of course he's still around. He's all they got. It's crazy. He's all they have. He's all they have. The only case that I can make for Stacey Abrams not being his running mate is because Joe Biden, if he were to win, I don't think he'd make it through a full term. So that would make her the president. I don't think they want her to be the president. I don't think she's the chosen one. That's the only reason why I would think Michelle Obama would make sense as a VP because of she's so well liked. I know what you guys are going to say. It's not a she, Mike. But the point is, I think Michelle Obama would be the VP pick, given that Biden won't make it through a full term. I just don't see it. And while I got you guys here, do you think Trump supporters mandatory vaccinations for all Americans? Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Somebody said, ask what I think about Trump supporting mandatory vaccinations for all Americans. Here's my thing. I support Trump. I will vote for Trump in November because I think he is the best possible man for the job. I trust him more than any politician you can name. And that's because I don't trust politicians. I want somebody who's going to stay out of my way and let me live my life. I support Trump, but I am not happy with some of his moves, some of the things he said. I just want to move on from this pandemic. I'm glad he stopped holding these press briefings, the coronavirus task force. I'm glad that's done. I'm over it. You guys are over it too. But his Operation Warp Speed is troublesome at best. First of all, why are we trying to fast track a vaccine, period? Vaccines, no matter how long they take, they still end up damaging people and they're dangerous. So why are we going to fast track one? And why is the president supporting that? I'm sorry. I don't. If somebody wants to say vaccines or should be mandatory, especially for this, that is a declaration of war. That is a declaration of war. It just is. How many people do you know who are going to mandatorily take a vaccine? Do you know anybody? Will you do it? I won't. They're going to have to do something worse to me than give me a vaccine. I'll tell you that much. But to my knowledge, he's not supporting a mandatory vaccine, even though there are people who think it should be mandatory. I mean, you've heard it from Bill Gates' mouth. You heard him say it. Bill Gates, who funds the World Health Organization, who politicians take orders from. They're informed. They let the World Health Organization and the CDC dictate policy, right? So we're talking medical tyranny. And if the president's on board with a vaccine, a fast track vaccine, I don't stand with that. And I don't know how anybody can, because as much as I support Trump, I support freedom and liberty more than that. Period. So if he supports that, I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like him bashing Sweden and Georgia for opening up too soon. Sweden for never locking down. I'm not a fan of that stuff. But, I would actually prefer that Trump get back to holding rallies. That's why I made that video saying maybe he should hold rallies again. He's sending out mixed signals. He's saying, open up the economy. But wait, Georgia, I disagree with you, Brian Kemp. I disagree with you on that. It's like, come on, man. Like, just get back to holding rallies, get some wins. I don't understand for the life of me how there are, flag waves going on. I got invited to a flag wave actually yesterday. You guys know that I've done that before, where I'll go stand on a street corner and be like, yay, Trump 2020. That stuff was fun when there was something to cheer about, when there was momentum, when he was boasting and bragging about the unemployment numbers and the stock market. Remember that? Remember those days when Trump would hold rallies? He would joke about the media. Everybody's having a good time. The momentum was great. Now look where we are. So I'm just not really sure what waving a Trump flag does right now. What does that do? If I go on a street corner like, hey, Trump 2020, it's like, okay, what does that have to do with freedom? What does that have to do with Florida opening up in phases by a Republican governor? Right? What does that have to do with anything? When there are states that have their lockdowns extended, they're still tyrannical mayors. Right? To me, it just feels weird. And like the boasting and bragging about how many ventilators we have and how we're doing the most testing in the world. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But what about the 33 million unemployed Americans? 33 million. Our unemployment rate is at 14.7%. Small businesses have been crushed off of what? Lies? False data? When it was declared a national emergency, that greenlit all of the tyranny in some of these states, where these governors are forced closing businesses, arresting people for going to work. It's like we've been fighting a three-headed monster from the beginning of the year. The virus being one, the crisis being number two, like as far as businesses being closed and stuff like that. And number three, tyranny. Tyranny, viruses, and the virus, and the economy crashing. And that's all on the heels of them putting out those false numbers. All the doomsday prophecies, those are going to be 240,000 Americans dead by this. They keep pushing it out there. And then all of the cheerleading. That's the only thing. There's like, some people just prefer to be part of the PR team for the president. Like, hey, Trump, retweet this if Trump's the best person you've ever seen in office. Like the Charlie Kirks of the world, the David Harrises of the world, they're tweeting out all this stuff, but they're not asking the hard questions like, Trump, why are you trying to fast track a vaccine? Why are you cozying up to some of these blue state governors? Why are you saying liberate Michigan, but then you're wagging your finger in the face of the governor of Georgia? That's a mixed signal. Like, can we be honest about it? Do we have to pretend like, well, we shouldn't say that because it's Trump? You know, I'm just saying, guys, like, if we're using our heads, he's not above criticism. I'll still vote for him, but he's not above criticism. We need to actually be principled and say, no, I don't agree with that. No. Who can you say that you agree with every single thing that they say and do? So that's all I have to say, really, is I'll probably go to one of these Trump flag waves soon, but I'm going to go and talk to people and I'm going to ask Trump supporters some hardcore questions. Why? Because I think that they'll give me reasonable answers and they'll understand that my criticism is not coming from a Trump derangement syndrome place. It's not coming from a liberal perspective. It's coming from a freedom loving perspective. Just, hey, what do you think about this? Right? Like, it's crazy. The flyer that they invited me with, well, it was on Facebook. Somebody messages to me. Anyway, on the flyer itself, it said, hey, we're going to go wave flags for Trump. We're going to do this. Bring your signs. Also, bring your mask and we're going to social distance. I'm like, what? It's a cognitive dissonance. I don't understand. It's like, we love freedom, but also we're going to social distance and wear masks and stuff. It's like, so are you on the side of freedom or not? Like, the mask, I can't do it, man. I will not do it. Right? I mean, there's something about the mask, the symbolism behind people wearing masks. It looks to me like submission. It's a symbol of submission. And what it does to the subconscious mind, it gives you that false sense of safety. We've enjoyed a very false sense of safety in this country for a long time. We don't have to worry about bombs blowing up here. We don't have to worry about food shortages or long periods of unemployment or tyranny, actual real tyranny, medical tyranny. We haven't had to worry about that stuff. In my entire life, I've never seen food shortages like this. I've never seen people lined up at food banks. I've never seen people arrested for trying to go to work. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen people wearing masks in public. Never seen that. But all of a sudden, now it's like the rug has been snatched from under us and people don't know what to do with it. There's so much fear. They're just trying to cling to any semblance of stability. But it's a false sense of stability if you think that some politician or the government is going to save you, protect you, and take care of everything. That is a facade. It is a facade, which is why I think a lot of people stand for the Second Amendment. That's why. It's not just protecting yourself from a tyrannical government. It's protecting yourself from the elements, from the environment, from the people around you. When seconds matter, cops are minutes away. So I don't understand how anybody could just rely on the police. How could anybody not have a gun? How? If you don't own a gun, okay, that's one thing. If you're like, I'm afraid of them or whatever. Do you own a machete, a baseball bat? What do you do if someone breaks in your house? Oh, hang on, Mr. Robert. Let me call 911. Hello, how soon can you get here? He's already in my house. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You got to protect yourself. Nobody cares more about your life than you. Period. So I don't understand. People are brainwashed. There's people so brainwashed. They're like, a group of other people are going to get together, call themselves government, and they're going to take care of me. So I'm going to put all my faith in them. I'm going to give them all my money and let them buy things for me, right? They're going to take my money and give me free stuff. They're going to protect me from the racisms, and they're going to protect me with their guns. The police are going to show up. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Nobody cares more about your freedom, about the outcome of your life, about your kid's life than you. And if I'm wrong about that, I would love to know how. I think I've said pretty much everything I wanted to say, but I will keep going. And I can tell that this video is, or this live stream rather, is demonetized. Yeah, it's a matter of time, guys. I don't know how much longer this channel is going to last because I cannot just toe a Republican Party line. I just can't. I can't do it. I shouldn't have done it from the beginning, but I understand I had to be there to be here. I went through a maturation phase. I'm always doing that. We're all, it's not even just a phase. It's ongoing. When I first got into politics, right, I became aware of a lot of things that I didn't know. And of course, naturally, I started going after Democrats. I talked about the party switch myth. I talk about Planned Parenthood, abortion, Margaret Sanger, blah, blah, blah. Watched a lot of Dinesh D'Souza. Loved Dinesh D'Souza. But then I started to see it's a dog and pony show. It's pretty much just two sides of the same coin, two wings of the same bird, whatever metaphor you want to use. People pointing the finger at each other, blame shifting while nothing gets done. Nothing at all gets done. I thought Trump transcended all of that. I think he still does, but he still talks about the Republican Party a lot. Wouldn't it be amazing if Trump talked about another party instead of the Republican Party? Like, both of these parties are corrupt. Republicans have just been controlled opposition all these years. How else could they let the left get away with what they were doing? It's because they all are bought out by the same lobbyists. They're controlled by the same central banking cartel. And so now I see that. The more I listen to high impact vlogs, he calls it out brilliantly. He called out, he's gone after so many YouTubers. And while I don't agree with everything that he says, he's not wrong about the left-right matrix and how people from both sides treat politics like a team sport. When at the end of the day, like I've been saying from the beginning, this Bill Gates, this CDC, this one world government stuff, that's going to affect everybody. You think they care if you're a Democrat, if you support AOC, if you support Trump? That stuff is funny. It's funny to call out Biden and expose all his gaffes and all this stuff, but doesn't it feel like we're kind of past that? Right? Imagine just me just sharing a bunch of Biden memes and stuff like that when people are unemployed. People are going to commit suicide over this. People are getting addicted to opioids, which come from China. Their families are being driven apart. People's lives are being destroyed right now. There's a lot happening that nobody wants to talk about. I don't mean nobody, but the people in certain positions don't want to talk about. Makes you think that they must be a part of it. If someone as idiotic as LeBron James can help fan the flames, once again, the little social justice warrior he is, saying black people are hunted down every day and getting hundreds of thousands of likes, retweets, comments. Think about the influence, the level of influence. It's the most ignorant thing ever. Just like the rapper Talib Kweli. Remember, I made one of my most popular live streams to date was me talking about Talib Kweli, a rapper, said Trump wanting to build a wall on the southern border is just like the Berlin Wall. He compared a wall that we were building to keep people out to a wall that was built to keep people in. And he said it with confidence. Put that ignorance on full display. Don't you just get tired of it? Because these people have platforms to influence. It just brings more light to documentaries like Out of the Shadows, right? Nothing happens without you signing on the dotted line saying you will push this narrative. This is what you say. Here's your script. You better read from it or we're destroying you. We're being pitted against each other. Good. I'm glad you see that. Now try to get 10 other people. Try to get 2 other people to see that. So many people just can't get there. They can't. They still, even with everything that's going on, everything that's come out, they still just let Trump live in their head rent free. They're still orange man so bad. Orange man bad. It's a matter of time before this shooting will be linked to Trump. It is a matter of time. It's not if, it's when. If it hasn't already happened, it will. Because it fits too perfectly. Southern, Georgia, white guys killing a black guy. It just fits too perfectly. Just watch. Just wait for it to happen. So anyways, I got to do some work around my house, but I appreciate all of you guys watching, supporting this channel. If you want to support financially, there's always links in the description. I don't think this channel is going to be monetized much longer. They don't monetize my videos as it is. And if they do, they shadow ban the hell out of it. I can't even crack 1,000 views on some of my videos. Put the same video on Facebook and it'll get 20,000 views. I've surpassed the number of likes and follows on Facebook. I think I got like 50,000 followers on Facebook, but here I can't crack 40,000. So between that, not getting monetized, and then when I do, they shadow ban it. This video itself is probably going to be shadow banned. You can support me on PayPal, Patreon. What's the other one I have? I have Cash App. I got all these different little things. They're links in the description. But I appreciate all of you guys who support this channel, support me, share my content, email me. You've prayed for me. Thank you for everything. I appreciate you guys. God bless you. I will catch you in the next stream.